Bonjour, and welcome to Café with Grace. Nancy Flaherty, founder of Hidden Gems with Grace, has discovered the secrets to shopping in new places like a local, and she's ready to share them with you. She's explored side streets and back rooms to discover the perfect boutique, offering you that item that you will always treasure, your very own hidden gem. She's at the table, eager to tell you about her latest treasure. So grab a cup of coffee or a glass of champagne, and let's hear what she has to say.
Hi, it's Nancy from Hidden Gems with Grace, and I want to share with you a little cafe talk about actually being in Paris. I have my coffee, my café au lait, and a little croissant, and I'm sitting in a sidewalk cafe at a little table watching the world go by and just enjoying time here in Paris, exploring all things French and French chic. So let me tell you about a visit to Paris that I recently had with two friends of mine, now friends. They originally hired me as an expert tour guide on where to shop in Paris. We take people shopping in Paris when travel is available to us, and I can't wait to go back. But for right now, all I have are some wonderful memories that I'd like to share with you. I call it 5 days in Paris. When we first arrive in Paris, it's usually an overnight flight. We have hopefully gotten a little bit of sleep on the plane and then land in Charles de Gaulle Airport, where it's a huge airport. There's so much going on, so many people from all over the world traveling to and fro. If you're not used to big airports, it can be a little bit daunting. But once you get through customs, get your passport stamped, and get down to the luggage carousel where you grab your luggage, and as you're walking out the exit to the airport, my driver Serge is usually there, always there. My driver Serge is there to greet us with a huge smile. He's such a sweet man. I love seeing his face after I've flown the 8-hour trip across the Atlantic Ocean. Serge grabs our bags and takes us to his car, where he whisks us from the airport into the city to our chosen hotel. The drive is about a 45-minute drive, and you can take the metro, you can take a taxi, you can take many different forms of transportation to get from the airport into the city. But to have that welcoming smile from Serge is just so homecoming to me. I just love it. So the chosen hotel from our trip is Le Dokhan. It's in the 16th Arrondissement, and it's just behind the Eiffel Tower, the Trocadero district, that level area that you see in so many iconic photographs of a huge patio area where people will stand and the Eiffel Tower will be behind them. That area of Paris is called the Trocadero, and behind the Trocadero is a little neighborhood. I love to call it my Upper East Side of Paris. When I'm in Paris, I like to pretend that I live there, that I'm an Upper East Side girl living in the neighborhood where the trendy, cool girl shops are, and the patisseries and supermarkets and all of that. I like to feel like I'm living there. I've stayed in many different places in Paris, and this is just one of my favorite neighborhoods. So Serge brings us to the hotel. It's on a little street corner, so he has to park like he's in a Tetris game. He has to park on the corner of the corner and unload the car for us. But usually, almost always, the doorman of the hotel is there, and he runs out and greets us with a wonderful bonjour and grabs our bags and takes us into the lobby. The lobby is a tiny little room that has a black and white tile floor, a wooden desk. There's always one person sitting behind the desk and maybe another person walking around in the lobby. They have a sitting area to the left that's very Parisian chic. It's actually, the Le Dokhan used to be a mansion in the 16th arrondissement. So they've converted this mansion into a beautiful little boutique hotel. I believe it's owned by the Marriott company. But anyway, it's just one of my favorite places to stay. And once we get there, we check in, our bags are brought upstairs. The tiny little elevator. Inside the elevator, it's a Louis Vuitton trunk. So if you imagine a Louis Vuitton trunk and they've taken it apart, turned it inside out, and you get into this elevator, it's probably about the size of a trunk as well. Maybe two people can fit in it at one time. But it's just such a cute little elevator theme to the elevator, the Louis Vuitton trunk. I love to take selfies in that elevator every time I'm there. So we get in the elevator, we go up to our rooms. Our bags are already there. Take a little time to unpack, freshen up, and then go downstairs for our welcome champagne toast. Le Dokhan's has a champagne bar downstairs that, again, it's just like an old mansion in Paris. It's beautifully decorated with seafoam green walls and gold accents, candles on every table. They will bring you a glass of champagne, and for our tour, your first glass of champagne is complimentary. It's on me because I want everyone to feel welcome and get to know each other. So we have our champagne toast, and it usually comes with a small little cheese biscuit, which I think is just a delicious pairing. If you can't have French fries with your champagne, a small cheese biscuit from Le Dokhan is perfect. We have our champagne toast, maybe another glass if we're feeling festive, and then we take a walk around the neighborhood. By this time, it's getting dark, it's almost sunset. We walk probably a 15-minute walk, it's not that far, over to the Trocadero to watch the lights sparkle on the Eiffel Tower. And that is just such a beautiful sight to see on our first night in Paris that it's just magical and wonderful that we even get to be here. After a good night's sleep, our first full day in Paris starts with breakfast at the hotel. That champagne bar I told you about converts into a breakfast room, and the tables are covered with white tablecloths. There's usually a basket of pastries on each table that gets freshened up every time a new guest comes and sits down. The waitress will come over and ask for your coffee order. If you'd like to order eggs, scrambled eggs, or a cheese plate, that's available too. And some fruit is available. It's the perfect way to start your day. Then we head over to the district of Paris that is most well known. It's a district where all the high-end stores are in Rue du Faubourg Saint-Honoré. It's the first arrondissement. The iconic global fashion houses are all on grand display there. And we stroll and shop and talk about the history of each of the fashion houses and enjoy the Parisian styles that are speaking to us through the windows of each of the stores. Sometimes we've gone into the shops and done a little bit of pre-shopping, but I tell my guests not to spend it all in one place. Let's look at the fashions, let's talk about what's trendy right now, and then let's go find it all over Paris. So yes, some of us have walked out with shopping bags from Hermes, Chanel, Dior. Roger Vivier has a lovely boutique there that I just absolutely adore. But we mostly talk about fashion and fashion trends and history on this first day. Then we go over to Café Le Nemours, and have a cup of tea or coffee and watch the people go by. It's right near the Grand Palais, where there's so many Instagrammable shots that people want their picture taken. It's funny to watch them, Instagrammers all dressed up, posing around the neighborhood. That's actually joyful to watch that all happening. And of course, we just sit at our cafe and drink our coffee and maybe have a croissant or a salad or niçoise salad, and just enjoy the afternoon. And of course, I allow my guests to wander about as they would like. Some people like to go back to the hotel and take a nap because it is quite a long day after flying across the ocean the day before. So I like to let people explore on their own. And oftentimes the group has been such a wonderful connection, made such a wonderful connection on our first day that we've all gone out to dinner together. I've also had groups where people just say, I want to be on my own because I want to explore this part of the city or that part of the city. So I leave late afternoons and evenings free just for that purpose. You get to do what you want. It's your city. Enjoy it. Our next day starts exploring the area of Paris that I like to call Upper East Side, where our hotel is located. It's the 16th Arrondissement. There are gorgeous apartment buildings on every corner with architecture that is so grand. The embellishments are so impressive. You know, these buildings were built by someone who had a lot of taste and a lot of money. And it's just so cool to see the balconies and see the windows and how the windows are dressed. At night, even walking through this neighborhood, I love to get a peek inside the windows to see how the apartments are decorated. The neighborhood is full of resale shops. One of my favorite resale shops is there. There are many contemporary boutiques and food markets. There's a really fun bookstore that I love to take people to that's full of not just books, but small leather accessories and writing utensils and notebooks and just small little gifts that you can get for yourself or others. And it's a really beautiful, luxurious bookstore. One of my favorites on the corner. Then about mid-afternoon, after all of our shopping, this is where we've taken everything we learned from the windows of yesterday and go to a less expensive boutique and maybe try to find the same style in a lower priced brand for those people who don't want to spend all their money in one place. But the contemporary boutiques of the 16th Arrondissement are perfect for that kind of shopping. After our full day of shopping, we will go to a small boutique hotel, not our hotel, but another one around the corner that has the most delicious sweet treats for an afternoon tea. I love to spend the afternoon having tea with my friend Jacqueline when I'm in Paris. She has such an incredible eye for sweets and has a really good sweet tooth that when we are out shopping, our nourishment in the afternoon is always a tea with maybe a cake or some cookies or something sweet. So we found this hotel around the corner that has a really beautiful, lovely tea service in the afternoon. And again, it feels like you're just living in the lap of luxury, having tea with all your bags around you, having a wonderful experience shopping in the 16th Arrondissement. Then again, off in the afternoon to explore more of this district or wherever you choose to go and have dinner on your own or with the group. It's that simple. Our third day on our trip is in an area called Saint-Germain. The Boulevard Saint-Germain reminds me of a trendy hipster kind of place that is a little more, I guess maybe we could call it the Village, the East Village, West Village of New York. And it's a full immersion in French culture by taking our time. French people take pleasure in just taking their time, and we spend ours around the boulevard, maybe at the iconic Café du Fleur where Hemingway sat, or Le Deux Magots where they sat and wrote their famous books. Our favorite lunch spot is in this district. It's called 13 au Jardin, and when we walk in there, the owner usually yells, "Bonjour, y'all." She's from the South. She is a transplant who lives in Paris and bakes all kinds of Southern foods, biscuits and grits and everything in the French style. One of my very first meals with this restaurant was a French toast, biscuits French toast. It was kind of an American classic with a Southern twist in France. It was amazing. So 13 Bakery is one of our favorite stops for lunch. And then, of course, the shopping in Saint-Germain. One of my most impressive resale shops is in Saint-Germain. And the owner, Catherine, has a tiny, tiny little place that one wall is all Chanel, resale Chanel. And the other wall is just across, maybe 6 feet, is resale Hermes. And Catherine actually owns the original Birkin bag that Hermes made for Jane Birkin. She bought it years and years ago and will sometimes bring it out for special occasions. And you get to see all the different Birkin bags and Kelly bags and just classic Hermes bags that you've ever can imagine seeing, more than I've ever seen in one place anywhere, including the Hermes store. Catherine has such a wonderful collection of scarves and jewelry, and of course, as I said, it's not just Hermes, it's Chanel, and just a lovely, lovely experience in the Saint-Germain area. There are also, again, more contemporary boutiques that you can go to that I love to take customers to. The different stores that are offered in Saint-Germain are so much fun to explore because they're truly Parisian. Paul K is one of my favorite Parisian stores. We do have a boutique here in Manhattan that you can shop Paul K, and of course you can go online now. But it was one of my favorite shops when I first met Paris and walked around. I thought, oh, it's so chic, so Parisian chic. So Saint-Germain is just a lovely place. And if you're missing a little bit of Americana, there's an awesome Ralph Lauren store there. It's just like the mansion in New York where you go in and the different boutiques within the store. And of course, in the middle of this particular Ralph Lauren store is a restaurant where I've been to for after dinner drinks. It's open air, so there's umbrellas. You feel like you're sitting on Ralph Lauren's back porch in his castle by the sea somewhere. It's just really cool. But it's his spin on being in Paris. It's amazing. And actually, we had a woman, one of our attendees for the trip was sitting at the Café du Fleur when Ralph Lauren himself walked by. And of course, he's so recognizable with his tan face and his silver gray hair and beautiful smile. And she smiled at him and he smiled back. And it was just a great memory that we had when we were in Paris. And again, Saint-Germain is such a fantastic little place to discover back alleys and side streets. And another shop that I love there is Eleonore Imaldi. She is an artist who worked for Dior. She worked for the House of Dior, and when Gianfranco Ferrer was the head designer, he brought over a lot of Italian couturiers, and Eleanor was one that came from Italy and moved to Paris and never left. And so after her time in the big fashion houses, she decided to open up her own brand. And again, she's can be found on social media and her website, Eleanor Imaldi. And she has just such beautiful draping skills, draping and yet also tailoring skills. She's got the soft, flowy drape talent and also the structured tailoring talent. Each of her pieces represent both sides of that. In fact, you can see in her logo, it's two E's. One E is very structured and tailored, and the other E is very flowy. So I love that little tidbit about Eleanor. She's fabulous. That's Saint-Germain and our third day on the group tour. The next day, we again start with breakfast in the hotel and then head to the Marais. So I said Saint-Germain was a trendy, cool hipster place. Well, the Marais is the updated, trendy, cool hipster place. It's definitely the fashionable district to be in. It's where Azzedine Alaïa had his boutique, and all the fashion lovers of anything trendy and cool and hipster flock to the Marais. There are streets full of food stalls where you can go shopping for any kind of foods, baguettes, pâtés, fruits, meats, cheeses, all of you can do your grocery shopping in an outdoor market in the Marais. It's also a place for just walking around. There are centuries old streets and alleys of Paris that have been around for so long, and the cobblestones are so worn over, but yet still so historic. It's really truly remarkable to be standing in these streets and get the feeling that so many have walked through these streets before us. We might do some more shopping in the Marais. One of my favorite shops for men, Maison Bale, is there. Hugo Bale is, again, on the internet. You can check out his storefront. He has an adorable statue of a little dog in the front that he always dresses up with, maybe a driving cap. And lately he puts a mask and a scarf around the dog's mouth and a scarf around his neck. And it's just so sweet to see the way that he styles his windows. So we go in there. It's very cool and Steve McQueen kind of cool, this little shop. So I love to take people in there if they're looking for gifts for the men in their life, or if I ever have a client who wants to shop only men's boutiques, the first place I take him is Maison Bale. But after wandering around the Marais, we take a little bit of an early day here because we have a big dinner planned. This is our 4th out of 5 days, and I always like to have a celebratory dinner, just like we had our glass of champagne at the beginning of the trip. We have reservations set at the Cristal room in the Baccarat Museum. It's back over in the 16th near our hotel, so it is an easy walk. And on that walk, we walk past a street that looks down onto the Eiffel Tower, and it's quiet and simple. You just look down the street full of houses, and there's the Madame Eiffel Tower just sparkling away. And our dinner is usually around 7 o'clock, 7:30. We eat a little bit early for the Parisians, but it's a nice way to spend our last day together. The Cristal Room is such a beautiful restaurant. It's an old building that was a mansion from the 1920s that a woman who loved to collect art built this museum to have her parties, her social events, and display her personal art collection. So the Baccarat Museum currently resides in this building now, and you can walk around before you go into the dining room while you're waiting for your table to be ready. You can walk around the different rooms with displays of Baccarat crystal from years and years. And Baccarat crystal was created, I believe, during one of the reigns of the kings to show off French elegance. And it definitely still shows off the French elegance of a lovely crystal glassware. When we go into our dining room, it's the juxtaposition between the elegant Baccarat crystal and the exposed brick walls, the paintings on the wall of French aristocrats, the banquettes in the room are velvet. There's a bright pink and a forest green and a lime yellow velvet chairs. But each table is set with Baccarat crystal. It's amazing. Even your water glass is a crystal water glass from Baccarat. It's so beautiful. And of course, the chandeliers. There are 2 huge chandeliers in the main dining room. There's also a side dining room for private parties of 6 or less that's all hot pink walls with black crystal chandelier and mirrors on the doors. It's gorgeous. There's a terrace you can go out on and sit out there. And I can't even get into the food. The food at the Crystal Room is amazing. It's Michelin star quality food. So we have our final dinner. I love to ask my newfound friends, what did you like? What did you enjoy seeing the most? What was your favorite thing that you bought when you were here with me in Paris? And let's do this all again. Don't we wish we could go back in time 5 days and do it all again? The next morning, we have breakfast together and share our favorite shops, showing each other the items that we've gathered on this tour before we have to pack it up. There's so many good memories to reminisce. We enjoy all the hidden gems that we find in Paris and the friendships that we continue to nourish as we say goodbye. Our driver, Serge, arrives at the right time, just the right time to whisk us back to the airport. It was a quick trip, but such a pleasant experience. Everyone says they enjoy their time, and the group is full of wonderful expressions of the experiences, the new friends, the precious new places, the souvenirs that we've collected. Just fantastic opportunity to spend 5 days in Paris together. And it just warms my heart to see how much my guests enjoy Paris on this tour. And I just love this city. It's full of style. Shopping can be a little daunting sometimes. You notice that none of our trip included the Champs-Élysées or the Galerie Lafayette, which are also fabulous places to shop. But I like to take my friends on the hidden gems, the side streets, the back alleys that have the classic Parisian pieces that only the local would know about. It's so wonderful to unveil this city's hidden gems and allow my newfound friends to bring home wonderful memories, even more than one perfect stylish souvenir from the City of Light that I love so much. I hope you'll join me on my next tour of Paris. Take a look at my website to see when that might be. I'm not sure when we're traveling yet again, but as soon as we can, I'd love to take you to Paris to experience a week just like this. Or let me create something unique just for you. If you have a group of girlfriends looking to get away and have some particular style of something that you want to see. I've been fortunate enough to be able to explore Paris so many times that I'm sure I could find something perfect just for you.
Thank you for joining us at the Café with Grace. If you want to know more about finding hidden gems, go to hiddengemswithgrace.com and subscribe to our newsletter, or join us on our next trip as we explore more hidden gems with Grace.